Welcome everyone to the 4th October 2022 VOLTHA TST meeting. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and would be later published to a YouTube channel. So let's get started. So the first item that we have on the rolling agenda is regarding the Volt Kettle command to show ONU and ONU OMCI counter stats. So the patch has been merged. Right, so Serkan to implement. So Serkan, this patch has been merged, right?
Yes.
Yes, Amit.
Okay.
I think we can delete this agenda item here.
Wait, Amit, perhaps not completely, because there's a subtask here that Joey wanted to check if the TST could get merging rights for the Volt control repo. Perhaps we can keep this point.
Okay, so then we remove this part and we just leave that.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. For the next one, which is the OLT app is removing flags based on the latest status entry. The last update seems to be Slack discussion. Worked well, from version stream was off. I did run back. So version test needs to be run once patch is in. So any update where this regression tests run? Gustavo, if you are on the call.
Gustavo is not on the call, and Joey also is not on the call. So this version file edit patch is there. Please go and review it, and so we can merge it later if it's root. Then Joey can run the regression tests.
Should we have a look at the file?
You can, it's a small patch that's increasing the version.
Yeah, why delete? Not have much in that. 512.
This is everything what has to be done to include this new OT app version in owners, or is there anything else?
1, 2.
It's version of the ONOS application version of it.
Yeah, so I think this needs to be reviewed, right? Because here it looks like 512 is getting changed to 521, but some of the version file still says 512. And my understanding was that it's only the pom.xmls where we do mention the version. I did know that we had a separate version file and how this is getting used. Maybe this is only for Gerrit. Anyone, any ideas on this?
No, it's Girish on the call.
No.
Because the version that ideally is exposed to Maven, right, which is a repo where the apps are hosted, I think are generally coming from the pom.xml files. So I don't know how this file comes into the picture.
I think that was a problem, that the files were not copied to Marvin. No?
Yes, that's what I can recall. Yes. Okay, I think we should skip it for now because we don't have the folks who can talk on this right now. So should we go on to the next one? Leave it open.
Yes.
Okay. So the next one is regarding test pipeline, OpenOLT restart and provision of flows failures, new patch set submitted, docs patch submitted, Girish tested the patch. So to do a new image should be created to bump the version string. So I think this is related to the previous one, right?
Yes, seems so.
Okay. So
I think,
really.
I mean, this should be something else, and I think it is completed.
Patch with version file updates.
We had a
Let's look into
version file update previously, and I think it's merged.
just to be done on patch submitted. Girish tested the patch. So 33137. Let's look at that. Is this already merged? Yeah, so this is +2 and merged already.
Actually, I think, as I recall, this version handling was the only problem left. The functional correction should be in, but the version files has to be bumped. And this is the patch above, I think.
It's
Isn't it?
33257, I think. You get it, patch. And it's merged, I think. So we can remove this from the agenda.
Okay, so you're saying that this is already completed. So we remove this one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the next one is on VOLTHA Go controller. Automatic video test jobs would be good for the multicast workflow. Now physical OLT multicast tests were and its various scenarios. IGMP. Check if the automated tests with the physical OLT are running periodically. Current hardware inventory to be shared by Girish. I think this has been shared by Girish, if I am not wrong. But I thought the idea was to move some of these jobs to XLR. Or am I getting confused with the next one?
Yes, the next one, I think the sub item of this.
So is it like something like that? The indentation should be one more?
Yes, I guess.
Okay.
Because we were transferring these jobs onto new OLTs, you know, to run the tests again with the new Go controller.
Okay, so the last update was patches merged and Jenkins job run, TT job and the accelerated burning pot triggered. Girish will monitor for updates and stats. So I have not seen any communication in this regard, whether it is successful or failure, nothing. So
Can you check the link? I mean,
yeah, we can do that. Community part, use Excel. Let's test. It doesn't look that good. Two of them passed, so pretty much everything's failing. Functional tests.
I think we need to check the logs.
So, Serkan, can you have a look at this one?
Yes, I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, just have a look and let us see whether it is a regression of the code base, or at least three things could have happened, right? I would not think really that it would be a regression on the code base, but mostly either the configuration of the job is not correct, or the job is not running fine on this specific OLT, right? It could be either
Yeah.
of the two,
Mhm.
most probably. So at least if we can figure out which out of this is the case, then we can decide on the next steps.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so let me put in an update here. It's following the same convention. Or
So do you have the DT jobs running on those pods?
I think the DT jobs, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think the DT jobs are running on the Zaxolity, yes, in building
Okay.
pod. Yeah.
Okay.
You could check that. Failing. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Issue reported by Daniel when Welt cattle commands like delete ONU, OLT, or send to an. Okay, so this is the issue that we saw in the adapter regarding the delete, right? And it, so what were the last things on this? Gustavo and other people. Okay. Okay, so I think
I have a comment here, Amit. And the previous ballots that the suggestion from Mahir.
Okay.
Yes, here we said that in the adapter there are a lot of delayed operations, and if any of the delayed is failed, we should immediately return to core and do not the rest of the deletes. This was my proposal, but when I checked the ONU adapter and the OLT adapter again with the documents, and I think the previous decision taken was to continue the rest of the delays if any delete operation fails. So I pull back this proposal, but we should respond with the error to core if any of these delete operations fail. Currently, if any delete operation fails, we do not respond to core with an error. In any case, we respond as success. So I add the appropriate comment to the task also, to this document task.
Okay.
Okay, so we can change this, immediately return the error to core sentence, and
so I will just cross it out.
Return the error code at the end of the operation.
Okay. But also, I think the other thing that happened in between is that I think there is some change of resources, and I think someone else will pick it up. Is I think what got discussed in the last call.
Seems, yeah, I wasn't in the previous call, so I'm not sure what's happened in the previous call. But
what was said was that Daniel would, who was working on this, would not be available, and that's why this comment came in that Gustavo and other 4-Power devs will take over the effort.
Okay, I can check with Gustavo on Slack or email. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the next one, the libsco patch set that I had submitted for the introduction of Prometheus counters. Yeah, so I got some comments from I think Holger as well as Serkant. and I have addressed all of them. So Sarkant, I think you saw my comments and I saw yours as well.
Yes, so we can think all of my comments are done. So there was only one point that maybe we need to discuss. So I think
Sure.
it is the last one. Just trying to remember. Oh, the units. Should we add unit suffix at the end of the metric names or not?
Yeah, so on this, so I was thinking that we keep it simple for now, and we have all the units only in milliseconds. The reason, as I had tried to bring it out here, right? Because internally we have a histogram, right, which is implementing this, and we have to give the. Let me bring it up here. Here, so the buckets, right, have to be defined beforehand, right? And this is the dev buckets that we are using for this histograms, which are storing the durations. So if we leave it open, right, this, I think this will not work really. If someone says, no, I want to have a counter which is in seconds, for example, right? Then without changing this, I think it will not really work out that straightforward. Or we have to modify and what is that? The collect duration, right? Because here we are just taking a time, right? And then we have to calculate, okay, actually what is the time, which we are doing here, right? Time spent. And then we have to see whether if this thing really maps onto that histogram or not. Because in the code, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know the usage of buckets. So that the buckets means the collection time of the histograms or something else. So what is those 2, 5, 10, 25?
Yeah, so let me just try to explain it. So here, so effectively how it works is that you define a histogram, right? And on that you define the bucket. So here these are in milliseconds, right? So you say, so it's effectively like 0 to 2, right? Or below 2, below 5, below 10, below 25, below 50,
I see,
below 100, right? And below 5,000. And implicitly there is another one which is called as infinity in Prometheus thing, which is like anything above 5,000. So whenever we insert or we collect one of the durations, right? So here you can see it says observe. So what it does is it goes and puts that counter, right? It increments it in one of the buckets.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. So say for example, if our time was say 250 milliseconds, it would increment in all these buckets. So all the buckets which are below 250, it will increment it.
Okay, so no need to have a unit suffix because it's already milliseconds, defined as milliseconds.
Yeah.
Histogram name probably so gives, in the help it says in milliseconds. So okay, I got it.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I thought that let's keep it simple. But anyways, this is the first version, right? As we start using it, if we come across use cases where this becomes hindering to us, right? So we can definitely suggest changes and we can make those modifications in the successive versions.
Okay, my other comment was the labels, multiple labels. So
yeah,
I'm not experienced using that Grafana dashboard much. but I was suspecting that if we have many counters, probably we would have thousands of counters because we are labeling all the device IDs and serial numbers, which cause Prometheus to have different counters for each label. So in terms of the performance, there are some implications. We can ignore those implications, but I'm not sure about the usability. Maybe after merging this, we can have a demo and see how the Grafana dashboard would look like.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, right? Because we are developing the first version, and then we really look at the usability of it.
Mhm.
Yes, if it doesn't really work out, yes, we can come back and change it, right? Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I completely agree with you on the performance implication of that, and that's why I think in the last call we were talking about it, right? That specifically for the ONU devices, right? This section where we are saying ONT device stats, right?
Mhm.
Which are on a per ONT basis or ONT device durations, right? We ideally would not want to have too many counters or too many durations under these sections. This should be minimal and what is absolutely necessary. Because counting it on a per ONU basis, I don't know how much benefit we are going to get. It might look good, but yes, the performance implication would be high. Completely agree with that. So on an OLT device basis, I don't think that should be okay, because I don't know how many OLTs would be there in a typical deployment. It should not be thousands, right? Say on a particular pod. Yes, over a complete operators network, it would be, but not on a particular pod.
Yeah.
And the others which are non-device specific, I think that's okay, because there we don't have those labels. So I think that is something that we should try to see, at least through code reviews, that this part, right, does not blow up and we don't have hundreds of counters there.
Amit, what is your idea? How often these counters will be retrieved per device?
So again, that is something that would be configurable, right, at the Prometheus scrape interval. But I would think that nothing less than, say, 10-15 seconds, right?
Yeah. Actually, especially these counters here are to see if any ONUs misbehave in regard with regard to the OMCI communication. That is something like an error indication. If there's something wrong with the OMCI communication towards this particular device.
Yes. So the way I have been thinking about it is, this is not really a debug tool, right? This is more to see the service health and trends, what is happening to the VOLTA system, right? If something is not working, I would not think that we would be able to figure that out exactly from the data that is coming on this interface, right? For debuggability of the system or for specific incident management, right? I would not think that this should be the interface. Because the other thing, the other thing that we also should remember, right, that these counters are held within the component that is raising it till Prometheus comes and scrapes it, right? So for example, ONU adapter is incrementing this counter, and because of whatever reason before the Prometheus scrape happened, right, say the adapter crashed, then we lose those counters.
Yes.
Yeah, so they cannot be used for situations where we need really exact values. I think at best they can give us trends.
but you can see which device has caused this afterwards, because you are also storing, for example, the serial number, right?
Yes, but
so it would be possible to identify a misbehaving ONU even if the adapter has crashed, and afterwards you would have this data and could see that, for example, one specific ONU had these problems.
Yes, but I'm not able to get your point exactly, because if the adapter crashes, then say those last 15 seconds, right? Say if our script interval is 15 seconds, those last 15 seconds worth of, potentially the last 15 second worth of data could be lost. But yes, the adapter comes back up again and tries to talk to the ONU, and still it encounters the errors. And again, we get this counters incremented. So yes, it will give us a good indication to figure out the problems. But what I'm trying to come to is we cannot use these values exactly for the face value. We cannot say that, okay, if it shows that TX retries total is 34, that means that yes, exactly 34 times the TX retries happened, right? It could be more. Maybe we lost
it's
some data.
only an qualitative indication that something is wrong with this ONU. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But this is actually enough to have the trigger to have a more detailed look at it.
Yes, yes. And then the idea would be that you use the other tools or the APIs that VOLTHA is exposing, right, to look deeper into the ONU or look into the logs of the specific adapter to figure out what's going wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So coming back to the point, Sarkant, I think we all agree to that point that yes, these counters could become very expensive if we don't keep a tab on the number of counters that we are using. And we also at some point of time should really see the performance implication of this when working on a large set. Maybe we can do some BBSIM tests, or on our scale test. Once we integrate it, we could see, okay, how does it look?
Yes, yeah, with BBSIM we can see how the Grafana dashboard will look like. Yeah, we can test that. And after merging this libco, then the OLT adapter implementation will come next, right?
So I don't have, or I have not created a task for that yet. If anyone is willing to pick it up, I would be more than happy. But I will create a task for that. So yeah. So at least I think these two are already identified, because this is what I think Holger was already working on. Maybe it might be easier to just add them. Some of them might be pretty straightforward. Some of them, I think, especially this OLT device durations, they might not be that straightforward. But yeah, I think we can create some tasks and see who can work on which of those tasks. But as a group, do we agree that, or should we prioritize which of this we should try to address?
I think OMC TX retries is an important metric.
Okay.
And checking the others. So discovery times is also an important one.
Yeah, maybe we can create one task for these two, and maybe we can create separate tasks for each of them.
Amit, would it be possible that you probably make an example implementation for only one counter, for example, an OLT or something like this, which could be taken as a blueprint for the other components?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Only such as an example, you know.
Yeah, maybe I can take an easy one. Discover is received total, right? And then I create submit that. If we go through the path set, and then I create subtasks or tasks for this one, and 3 separate tasks for this one, and then whoever is interested can work on them in parallel.
Yes, would be nice.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So so for this activity that we have here in the rolling agenda and this path set, I think if no further comments, I would be
I mean-
happy if, yeah,
Actually, I have a comment. I mean,
yes, please.
it's an existing comment. I think it's important. I mean, keeping these counters from OLTs and ONTs, OLT adapter and ONU adapter specific counters in the lib go, is it a good idea or not? I mean, previously we had some statistics from OLT adapter and ONU adapter we were sending to Kafka bots, not Prometheus, but in this approach, we had some common, codes in VOLTHA libgo, and we had counters specific to adapters in their repos, their code base. So currently, we're putting the, OLT and ONU adapter counters into the VOLTHA libgo. So as you previously discussed with Serkant on the patch, I'm not sure if it's the, best way to do this. Probably we will go to add some counters also for RW core, for example.
Yes.
And this may, the number of counters may increase by the time, and we may go to add some other counters, to here. So each time we need to go to change the VOLTHA libgo and increase its version. So I prefer to have the common, code base here, VOLTHA libgo, but the counters itself in the same file and package in the repo of the adapters themselves or RW core. Whoever uses these counters can keep the counters in its repo.
Okay, so
And another comment about the name of the files. How can we differentiate these counters from the previous counters that we were publishing in the Kafka bus? So this is also stats, it's also stats. So perhaps we can add some, I don't know, differentiation to the file names or package name.
Okay, so that is something maybe I need to check on regarding the naming, if this naming is causing a confusion to something that is existing, because I have to look into the existing counters that are there and that piece of code. So I will look into that. Right. And if it causes confusion, yes, I will rename this.
Okay.
So the package is called stats. I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't have confusion with this device counter, non-device counter types of things. It might be with the name of the package. So that we can change.
Package and file name, when I look at it, I see stats. So then when I see the stats, I think that this is all the statistics in this, repo. But I know that we have some other statistics before, and it's probably file name, as far as I remember, it's against statistics or stats managers, something like that.
So if there are any common. Yeah, so if there are any suggestions, please feel forward to put it on the thing, and I will look into that. Because I thought that because it's a separate package, right? So if we change the name of the package, right, then I think the file names inside the package really should not cause a confusion, I would think, because they're separate packages.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
So, yeah. So regarding the other point, that is of having this constants, right? Basically, what you are saying within the repos itself. Yes, we can do that, but my only reasoning for trying to keep everything here was that I thought that if we have all of them in one place, it makes life easier and more controllable for the things that we do. Because what happens in the other case is that, okay, we would have these files in 3 different repos, right? And folks have to go in there and then figure out, okay, which repo or which component emits which, still doable. But sometimes if the author does not say, put that in the constant file, because you could just use the string, right? And emit or emit the counters, right? Then it becomes more difficult to figure out which counters actually a component would be emitting. And the only way is either you go through the code and find it out, or when the counters are coming in Prometheus, okay, you see, okay, what is the data in Prometheus? So the example of this is what we have with our events framework, right? So for example, if today we were to ask, okay, what are the events that the ONU adapter is emitting? I don't know a place where to find that out, rather than the only solution I know is to go through the ONU adapter code base and to dig it out from there, which becomes, I think, challenge for the maintainability.
We can, in this case, I mean, we can put the same package and file names to the adapters themselves to make it easy to find where the counters are. I mean, they can have, again, stats or Prometheus stats package and stats.go file in this package to find the stats there. Just the proposal, I mean. Because, I mean, in this case, you know, you have to change. If I want to add a new counter to ONU adapter, I have to go to change the VOLTHA libgo, and you know, it's an ONU adapter change, but I do it in VOLTHA libgo. I have to probably upstream 2 pages first VOLTHA libgo, then go to edit the ONU adapter. This will also be a bit complex, I guess.
But you would have the overview, as Amit said, because if every component cooking its own soup, then probably we get an inflation of counters, probably, and nobody recognizes it. You know what I mean? That we have here a controlled place, one place where all this is collected.
Yeah, so Mayur, I completely understand your point of view, and that is what I had also replied, that yes, we have the overhead of, even for a small change, we have to do first a patch set on VOLTHA libgo, and only after that is merged, we can do our own patch set, right? So something which ideally might take 10 minutes might take, okay, say 1.5 hours, right? Because you have to wait, okay, that gets reviewed, it gets merged. Completely understand that, but we also need to think of how do we manage this, because my experience with the events is like, I think it's difficult to manage.
Okay,
that's the only reason. But yeah, I still would try to think of something where we can localize the change. Localize the change to the adapters. So if we were to put, say, for example, we still have this say types defined here and say we define this constants only in the say OLT adapter.
Yes.
And then the conversion to string, no, but then the string conversion functions are defined on the type, which has to be in the common code base. We can't do it that way. Hours.
I have mixed feelings about that.
Mhm.
Maybe we should keep this process harder, because if somebody wants to add a counter here, and if it stays on the Volta libgo, I am feeling that probably all eyes would be on the Volta libgo, and if we see something, no, we shouldn't add this counter, probably visibility of the change would be higher than a single component change.
So you want to make it harder to add counters?
Yeah.
This is kind of funny. It's mostly people don't put enough counters and don't think on them to put
Because
usable counters on the system. So now we're making it harder to.
no, the reason behind that, we should be careful, especially for the device counters. If somebody wants to add a counter for all of the ONU devices, then it might be a problem for the performance problems, etc.
Okay. No objection, guys. If everybody
Okay,
thinks on that way, no objection. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, so I would say that let's take the first step. Let's see how it works out. If we see that, yeah, this is not really working out good and it's hindering us too much, yeah, then we change course, right? We can always break it up again.
Amit, if you remember my first comment about this, can we take these counter names out of the Volta libgo as Mahir method? But my reasoning was different. Can we also use this package in other components other than Volta?
Yeah.
So if we decide to take these counter names out of the Volta libgo, that is also probably we would be able to use for the other components. So as I said, I have mixed feelings.
So really, if you look into the main code, right, which is in this, right, it is hardly, I don't know, not even 100 lines of code, right? It's like some 50, 60 lines of code. So if anywhere word wants to implement it, it's like absolutely nothing. So the idea of creating the package is more to have a commonality, a maintainability. That's the main idea, rather than implementing the Prometheus counters, right? Because see, we can always copy paste or whatever, write this one, and more like you could want to have gauges, you could want to have summaries and things like that, and we could directly implement it on the adapters itself. We don't even have to have a common package because the code is trivial. It's not really a library which is really serving a lot of functionality. It's more about the hygiene and the commonality of the naming and how you use it. That's the main idea for this lib.
I see.
Right. So as you can see, it's hardly 50 lines of code. Right. So I would suggest, I think we have some opinions there which are not all aligned, but I would say that we start with this. and see how it goes. If we hear a lot of complaints from folks saying that, yes, we have built something, but it's not really usable, it's causing too much of time issues, then yeah, we change course then. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I would request if some of the others could please put in a +1, then one more +1, then I could go ahead and merge it. Okay, for this one at least I have a +2, so I can merge it. Okay, I don't know how well we are doing on time. Looks not to be that good, so let's move on. Okay, so ONF presence in BBWF, I think we talked about it. So what I can share is that I will also be traveling for a couple of days, and the slides that are going to be presented are work in progress. I think Mahir and Sarkant, you are aware of that, I think. And yes, that is work in progress, but it would be mainly based on some things that were already done, because the idea is to highlight the entire project, and also we will highlight our last release on that, and also talk about what we are planning to do in this release. Okay, anyone, any comments, thoughts on this? Else we move on to the next one. Oh, then there seems to be a comment here, so can't add it.
Yeah, I created 2 tickets for the implementations.
Okay.
One for the Vault CTL. The other one is about having an API for the log configuration.
Okay.
But I didn't have a chance to start implementing the Vault CTL patch.
Okay.
Just able to create the 2 tickets.
Okay, so are you going to work on the tickets, or you are expecting that if anybody else picks them up?
I can work on the Vault CTL patch, but I'm not sure for the other one if someone willing to do that.
Okay, so let me just update that. I think this is the, which one is this? So you're not going to be working on this one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Date 204. Oops. So this one was 4798. So you're going to work on 4797. And 4798 needs an owner to work on.
The opposite.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And let's move on to the next one, which is Jenkins nodes, Volta scale 1, 2. We are missing Joey. I'm not sure how much we can look into this. Lab equipment in advance process and that closure breaks removed and resetted on Monday. Equipment boot. DHCP logged. Yes, scale test nodes are currently offline. I'm not sure what to make out of this in Joy's absence.
So this is not about the Berlin pods, right? This is about Hillsborough or something. I don't remember.
Yes, Hillsborough site, yeah.
Okay.
This is not the Berlin, but yeah. Okay, I think we don't have the folks to talk on this one, so we leave it open. So That's it, what we have in our rolling agenda. We still have, I think, 4 minutes left. Is there anything else we need to discuss? Anybody, any other topics?
I don't know.
Not done, yeah, I would want to close the call for today. Thanks
Thanks.
all for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Talk to you
Bye-bye.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.